Mentoring relationships are just like any other relationship. They are imperfect. Misunderstandings and conflicts can happen. But if you are like me, you find conflicts scary. Johnson and Ridley, in their book called Elements of Mentoring, encourage mentors to detect and address any early sign of dissatisfaction or conflict in the mentoring relationship. But how does a mentor know if the relationship is in trouble? The authors name 3 reasons. The mentee or the mentor does not believe that some of their professional or developmental needs are being met. One or the other feels that the cost of the relationship outweighs the benefits. The mentee or the mentor feels distressed or harmed by the relationship. And what are the most frequent causes for problems in mentoring relationships? Let's see what the authors say. Number 1, poor matching. Maybe the personality types are so different that it hinders an effective communication and learning. Number 2, faulty communication. Maybe expectations have not been discussed right from the start, or there's no initiative from one side or both sides in the relationship. Incongruent expectations. Maybe mentor and mentee don't see the mentoring relationship and what it should involve the same way. Role conflict. Often this is about supervisory roles and support roles. When those two overlap in one person, that can be quite challenging in a mentoring relationship. Another reason might be mentor incompetence, either professionally or interpersonally. Another one could be fuzzy boundaries, when it is not clear who is supposed to do what and what communication channels are allowed and agreed upon in the mentoring relationship. And finally, unresolved disputes usually cause the mentoring relationship to end. So let's see what other advice Johnson and Ridley give us about what to do when things go wrong. Above all, do no harm. It is your ethical responsibility as a mentor to keep your mentees' development needs in the forefront of the relationship and to give them assignments that they can actually do and that do not place them in a difficult situation that they are not yet ready for. Slow down the process. If there is a misunderstanding or conflict in the relationship, make sure that you take time to cool off when you feel triggered. It is always good to engage in some self-reflection, or if needed, even ask the advice of an experienced colleague, just to make sure that you have the time to really prepare for a good conversation with your mentee that addresses the situation. Make sure you take time to self-reflect and check your emotions, whether you are really tired and overextended, and what else might be influencing you and your emotions. Tell the truth. Johnson and Ridley highlight clearly in their book that when a mentor avoids communicating complaints to the mentee, the mentor harbors a hidden agenda, and it is likely to re-emerge in the form of neglect or hostility. It is very important that the mentor does not act as an enabler of a dysfunctional relationship or habits or patterns. So do communicate when it's necessary to your mentee if there are signs of performance problems in the relationship. Be specific and kind, but do not withhold constructive feedback for fear of losing the relationship. When you are afraid to speak the truth in love, you actually do a disservice to your mentee. Seek the advice of a more experienced colleague. No one can expect you to know all the answers to mentoring problems. Sometimes it is very helpful to talk a situation through with a trusted colleague. Just make sure that you keep your mentee's confidentiality. Document carefully. It is a professional practice to keep some notes after each mentoring conversation with your mentee. These notes can help you later on to assess the effectiveness of the mentoring relationship. It can also give you a chance as you look back to celebrate milestones that you have achieved together And it can also help you to reflect back on times of conflict, to be specific when you need to address certain issues. Our focus should be on restoration as much as possible. However, there might be situations and relationships where it is in the mentee's best interest that the relationship should be ended. In those situations, it is your responsibility as a mentor to be courageous and to make that decision. And to end with a word of encouragement for those of us who are like me and who tend to avoid and flee conflict, let's try to adopt a growth mindset where we can see conflict as opportunities for growth, to better understand each other, to learn from each other, and to have a restored and strengthened relationship.